Hi guys, I'll be comparing the new PXN V10 Ultra, which is an entry-level direct drive racing wheel, against Logitech's entry-level wheels, so the G923, G29 and the G920, to hopefully give you enough information if you're deciding which one to go for. Details for all the items I'll be showing today are in the description below, including purchasing links. So I'll be showing you around the wheelbases, wheels and pedals, testing each one to see how they compare against each other, giving you any pros and cons to give you a better idea of which one you should get. But before I begin, if you're new to the channel, hope you can support me by subscribing and hitting the bell icon to get notified of my next release. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. Let's begin by taking a quick look at what you get in the packaging. The PXN V10 Ultra comes with the V10 Ultra racing wheel, 2 mounting clamps, the V10 Ultra wheelbase and the PDHM pedals. It's compatible on a PC, Xbox and PS4, but not on a PS5. And price wise, the bundle comes in at just under $260. The Logitech entry-level wheels come with a wheelbase and wheel attached and a set of pedals. You have 2 different bundles for the G923, so you can either go for an Xbox and PC or the PlayStation and PC. The G920 is only compatible with the Xbox and PC, and the G29 is PlayStation and PC compatible. All the PlayStation wheels support both a PS4 and PS5. Price wise, the G29 and the G920 bundles have dropped to just under £169, and the G923 has dropped to £219 on Amazon. And on the Logitech G website, you can save more money with my discount code Geek, giving you an additional saving. Let's start by taking a look at the wheelbases. The PXN V10 Ultra wheelbase is a direct drive wheelbase providing 3.2 Newton meters of torque, with the motor having a 15-bit resolution. The wheel rotation can be adjusted between 90 degrees and 1800 degrees through their software. The casing is made from plastic and has a metal plate underneath and comes in a matte black finish with a red stripe across the top. On the front you have a quick release system made of plastic. It measures 220 millimeters in length from the quick release point to the back of the wheelbase, and on the back you have your connection ports. You're even able to adjust the angle of the wheelbase by removing the screws at the side and adjusting the angle and then reattaching the screws. Connecting up the wheel is simple. You just line up the plastic nib at the top and screw in the racing wheel to keep it secure. Over to the Logitech entry-level wheels, so the G923, G29 and the G920. These are literally identical in design, with the only real difference being the controls on the G920, which are slightly different, and it doesn't have a rev indicator. There's no quick release system as the wheel is attached to the wheelbase. It has clamps underneath to help attach it to a table, with holes underneath allowing you to attach it directly to a sim cockpit. The connection points are underneath, and it has a cable with a USB-A connection point, allowing you to connect it to either a console or PC. The wheelbase itself works on dual motors consisting of gears and cogs, providing 2.1 Newton meters of peak torque on the G29 and the G920, but it has slightly more on the G923 at 2.3 Newton meters with a maximum 900 degrees lock-to-lock rotation, which can be adjusted in the Logitech G Hub app. Onto the wheels, and the V10 Ultra racing wheel measures 270 millimeters across. It's quite light and is covered with stitched PU leather material with red stitching around the spokes and stitched together on the inner part of the rim. The rim has a D-shaped design with a red center marker at the top. In the middle you have a metal frame with 17 programmable buttons with the PXN logo in the middle. On the back you have the PXN quick release system with the paddle shifters made from aluminium alloy and consists of 2 paddle shifters and 2 clutch paddles underneath. The paddle shifters have a clicky sound to them when pressing down, whereas the clutch paddles underneath doesn't have any sound. Over to the Logitech entry-level wheels, and the G923 is fixed to the wheelbase and is covered with hand-stitched leather. It has a blue center strip and measures 260 millimeters in diameter. It has 14 buttons, which includes either the Xbox or PlayStation buttons depending on which wheel you go for. There's also a D-pad, a 24-point selection dial and the plus and minus buttons to further adjust and tune your driving preferences. There's an LED indicator positioned just above the center of the wheel, The G29 is literally identical to the G923, whereas the G920 is also similar, but it doesn't have an LED rev counter or the 24-point selection dial with the plus and minus adjusters, so you just have 12 buttons on there. The wheel looks and feels good, and again isn't very heavy. The two paddle shifters at the back are stainless steel and have a clicky sound. Have a listen to this. Next, onto the pedals. The PXN PDHM pedals are made from carbon steel, with the accelerator having a larger faceplate on it. Both the faceplates can be adjusted up and down, and you can even change the angle of the pedal to give more of an incline. Underneath the pedals you have rubber grips to stop it slipping on a smooth surface, but there's no carpet grippers. In terms of the feel, when you push down on the pedals, they all feel very similar, with them being spring loaded, which is not so great for the brake pedal. Hence why they've provided a spring and damper to improve the experience, providing a 10 kilogram damping force. You can attach it to the brake pedal by clipping it into place on the pedal and then squeezing down to get the top part locking into place, and this feels much better, providing more resistance than a real brake. Both the pedals work off a Hall effect sensor, so the distance travelled as you press down, but on the negative side, they don't currently offer a load cell upgrade for the brake, but there's an optional clutch pedal available to buy. The pedals on the G923, G29 and G920 are literally identical, with stainless steel pedals which are mounted onto a plastic board. Underneath you have carpet grippers and rubber pads to prevent it slipping, plus it can be mounted onto a sim cockpit using the holes underneath. All three pedals are spring loaded and they work off a potentiometer. The G29 and G920 work off a non-linear brake pedal, but the G923 has a progressive spring which mimics the performance of a pressure sensitive brake system. This means the first 50% feels pretty easy, but once you get past this, it does get a lot stiffer and you do need to use a lot more force when pressing down, giving it a more realistic braking. But with this, the brake also has a potentiometer sensor working off the distance travelled. Functionality wise, all the wheels are compatible on a PC, with the PXN V10 Ultra being compatible on an Xbox, Xbox Series X, S, PlayStation 4, but not on a PlayStation 5. And it was quite interesting to see the V10 Ultra provides console support in quite a strange way, to be honest, where you have to connect the wheelbase to your console and you have to plug in the controller of the console to the wheelbase, which I did find a little bit strange, but it all worked pretty well regardless. With Logitech, there's two versions, so a PC and Xbox, which is the G920 and the G923, or there's the PC and PlayStation version, which is the G29 and the G923, but there's not a single wheel that supports all three platforms. When you're using the Logitech wheel on a PC, you'll need to install the Logitech G Hub app, which lets you adjust the settings on the wheel and pedals, and also lets you reassign the controls. PXN also have their own software to customize settings. It's called the PXN simracing, and you can get it from their website, and you'd use it to make adjustments on your PC, on the wheel and wheelbase. The software is quite intuitive to use, where you can change the force feedback on the wheelbase and remap the controls on your wheel. Plus you have a game launcher with a number of games, and you can launch your games from here. There's also a mobile app available on both Android and iOS that lets you connect to the wheelbase to make these changes on the fly, something which Logitech doesn't have. Expandability and ecosystem wise, Logitech wheel is still quite limited, but you can mix and match using their new RS handbrake and shifter, or you could use the RS pedals or the Pro pedals with the Logitech racing adapter. There's third-party mods available where you can upgrade the wheel, or you can add in a load cell kit on the brake pedal. But once you buy a few of these mods, the cost really isn't worth it, as you'd be better off upgrading to a direct drive wheelbase to get the best experience. The PXN V10 Ultra is quite limited too, as there's no other wheels for this wheelbase, but there is a mod where you can swap the rim for an F1 rim, plus they have a shifter and handbrake, but there's no load cell pedal upgrade or any pedals with a load cell kit. Now on to testing out all these wheels. The Logitech entry-level wheels feel very similar in driving experience, providing a reasonable amount of force feedback. You can feel any bumps and knocks together with feedback going around corners, but the wheels do feel very noisy as you can hear the cogs and gears inside. The G923 has the added benefit of True Force, which works off the dynamics of the car to give a more realistic racing experience, but this is only available on a small number of games, and the impact this has is very subtle during gameplay, and to be honest, from my perspective, it was nothing amazing. In comparison, the PXN V10 Ultra feels like a game changer, with the wheelbase feeling impressive, with it providing a good amount of force feedback for an entry-level wheel. The V10 Ultra wheelbase is quiet, and even after playing on it for a couple of hours, it doesn't feel warm and there's no loss of performance. The racing experience feels really smooth, refined, and provides a good amount of detail from bumps, curbs, and the track itself. The torque levels feel good in comparison to Logitech's budget offering, with a peak torque of 3.2 Newton meters, plus you can feel the force feedback accurately from the track when you're going around corners, hitting the curb, or even driving on different surfaces without it feeling notchy like it does on the Logitech wheel. But one thing that surprised me was that the Logitech wheel actually had a better build quality and feel in terms of the controls on the wheel and the wheel rim, with the PXN actually having a cheaper feel to it. Onto the pedals, and the Logitech ones are not bad, with there being a spring and damper in the brake pedal. PXN's pedals feel good underfoot and they don't have any flex on them. The accelerator feels smooth and retracts back well, with the brake having a spring and damper, providing more of a realistic progressive feeling when braking. In comparison to Logitech's pedals, these feel far more superior in build and performance. Both give a great experience, but if I was comparing Logitech's offering to PXN's, the experience between the two is literally night and day, with the PXN V10 Ultra giving a much more refined experience in comparison. So in summary, both the PXN V10 Ultra and the Logitech G923, G29 and G920 are good entry-level racing wheels that are perfect if you're on a limited budget. Logitech wheels are slightly cheaper, but I'd say you'd be better off saving a little bit more and getting a direct drive wheel. So in this instance, the PXN V10 Ultra, as it provides a much better experience when racing, with the only limitation being the fact it doesn't have any PS5 support. So there you have it, you've come to the end of another video, and I hope it's helped anyone deciding between any of these budget racing wheels. Details for all the items I've mentioned today are in the description below, including purchasing links, and I'll include any discount codes I may have. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And for those of you who've got to the end of this video, please leave a comment with cheap wheel, as it's awesome to see who's got to the end of my video, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Follow me on all my socials. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to be notified on my next release. Thanks for viewing, and see you in the next one.